Okay, folks, there is a lot to address with this final segment here, and I think that we do have to look at this with open eyes. So it's about the Democrat TikTok influencer Harry Sisson and his friend Camil Maroun. Now, to be clear here, a lot of people were shocked at Harry manipulating and playing with women's hots, asking them for private photos and imagery. And Sarah Fields, whose account Sarah is censored, broke that story. All right. So I want everyone to be sure to know who broke the story. Sarah Fields is the one who broke the story. And it's a little bit more than just Harry manipulating women, because Harry, in his orbit of influencers, was next to this person named Camil Maroun, who's got a lot of accusations and allegations being sent at him. And until there's further investigation into this, I fear that the story is being swept aside. And it looks like it should be swept aside, because there are people asking questions, and they should. So Sarah Fields broke this story. And I think, this is a bigger context in regards towards social media, TikTok, the influencer culture, and also how it connects into politics, because we cannot forget Harry and his fantastic friends were telling everybody, hey, we got to support Biden. We got to vote Biden. We got to go ahead and bend our backs backwards for Biden. And then later it's Kamala Harris. But who is the person behind the scenes? So I want to pull up this video here, because it's always important to start from the beginning, as it should.
I didn't have this on my 2025 bingo card at all. Harry responded to that video on X.
Now, the video in question is where Sarah Fields is asking Harry to respond with his association with Camil Maroun.
In March 2023, Camil approached me with a business opportunity, which was eventually revealed to be fraudulent. Camil leveraged this relationship to procure personal information, which he used to commit identity theft against me. Camil opened credit cards and incurred tens of thousands of dollars of debt in my name. Around this time, it was brought to my attention that Camil was committing various other crimes, including harming minors. Once I became aware of this, I immediately sought legal advice and, upon recommendation, gathered evidence and notified federal authorities before becoming the first to contact the FBI and file a police report against him. I had not spoken publicly about any of this at the request of law enforcement and in an effort to protect victims who were actively at risk. Despite our political disagreements, we are aligned on this. It's important for his victims to feel empowered to come forward and put an end to Camil's actions once and for all. Don't assume I'm stupid and that I'm automatically going to trust Harry, because obviously I do not. This looks like something that was more than likely written by Harry's attorney. But what you all need to understand is that this is huge. Because for Harry to come forward as a victim of Camil is now going to be investigated. And I was just notified recently that the FBI has eyes on Camil. The purpose of this is to take down someone who harms children. What has happened with Harry is still there, but this is about taking down Camil. Thank you, Harry, for saying something. I don't care under what circumstances it was. Thank you for saying something.
Now, a lot is developed in this story, so it's just it became something bigger, because for those who don't know, especially when you start having millions upon millions upon millions of viewers, especially on TikTok or Instagram, there's always an agent behind it. This is how the game is played, especially when you see maybe an air quote industry plant being set up. I mean, we've all seen the rise of many people, and you're wondering, well, gee, how'd you get there, and how'd you get millions of followers and subscribers in just such a short time frame, and not ever deal with the jackboot of censorship that can be found on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, X, you name it, it's there. I mean, come on, this is a competitive media space, and somehow a rose blooms. Now, Harry was his situation with those 11 women. I mean, this led to this as well. And I want to pull up this tweet as well. Sarah Fields did tweet this out as well on March 21st. Thank you, Harry, FBI, Kash Patel. It's time to investigate Camil. Going on as well, I have been informed that the FBI now has eyes on Camil Maroun. The goal is to take down Camil for harming, again, underage people, children. Okay. All others will be revealed in the investigation. Thank you for believing me and for all the support in this. Let me pull up this tweet again. Sorry, you guys did not see that. So let me just go ahead and pull this up here as well. Thank you to Kash Patel. Thank you, Harry, FBI, Kash Patel. It's time to investigate Camil. Again, Sarah Fields has been leading this story, and there's a lot more that developed over the weekend. But because of the sensitivity of the story, and I played this video before, but there will be, because everything was developing over the weekend, there will be videos or maybe screenshots that are going to be screwing up everything. And I want to play this video because it's important for us to understand that we have to get all the facts straight. So let me play this video here.
All right, so I wanted to cover this because this exchange is making the rounds on social media, and people are starting to put out some misinformation about this, and we need to correct the record. Because lying about this shit isn't going to help the victims. It isn't going to help the people we're actually looking to help. So there's two exchanges here. This is an exchange between a 14-year-old boy and Harry Sisson. Now, this smaller exchange down here, which I'm going to cover in a second, is between Harry Sisson and Camil Maroun. Now, the biggest piece of misinformation I wanted to correct is that people are saying that this is from 2024. It's not. It's that somebody has gone in and actually removed the text date, because we also have it from the other side where we see it's November 6, 2023 at 1:42 a.m. So this was late 2023. But this is Harry saying to Tynan, dude, what are you doing? Camil is having a panic attack right now. Camil just called an ambulance. But the really important part of this whole thing is this. Now, like I said, this is Camil speaking to Harry Sisson, where Camil sent him, why else would this happen? And here's the important one. If we are blown, the cease and desist needs to go out immediately. This is actually really bad, that word. So the real question here is, what did Camil mean by if we are blown? If we are blown on what, Camil? If we are blown on what, Harry? What were you blown on that you needed cease and desist letters to go out? Fake cease and desist letters, by the way. Like, this implies that Harry was a part of whatever was blown. I know that sounded dirty, but that's not what we were going for. Whatever it was so bad that it caused Camil to send out an SOS, like an emergency SOS, on which he has Harry listed as an emergency contact. How close do you got to be with someone where you're listed as their emergency contact? Like, we already have evidence that most of what Harry said here, or at least what Harry's lawyer said, is bullshit. Because Harry was saying all this happened in early 2023. Yet here we are in November 2023, and Harry's part of a conversation talking about if we are blown, the cease and desist needs to go out, and Harry is still listed as an emergency contact for him. So yeah, Harry, we're not buying this. You're going to need your lawyers to clarify a little better.
And case in point, I want to pull this up here as well. This also took place on March 22nd. It appears that Harry Sisson royally screwed up in a statement that he released yesterday, or did his attorney screw up? However, again, he stated that he reported Camil to the FBI and filed a police report in March of 2023. However, text messages show that Harry was still in contact with Camil in November 2023 and was his emergency contact. Note, the text from Camil to Harry, Camil states, if we are blown, the cease and desist needs to go out immediately. To which Sarah Fields also posted this on the 22nd. More of Camil's victims have contacted me. This is so overwhelming and sick. Camil needs to be charged and arrested. If he has not been called in for questioning by Tuesday, I'll be releasing yet another article about 2 more of his victims with evidence. So today's Monday. Tomorrow's Tuesday. It's going to be a firecracker time. So let's go ahead and pull up this one more final tweet right here. The following thread is about 2 more victims of Camil Maroun. So far, over a dozen more victims in the last 48 hours have approached me to either tell their story publicly or provide their evidence to the FBI. Every victim has provided evidence that Camil Maroun has committed fraud on a massive scale and has been doing so for years. Camil is the founder of the LLC called Impulse. Those involved with Camil include Harry J. Sisson, his former chief of staff. Harry's in a hairy pickle. No pun intended. Everybody be nice. Stop being mean. Please be advised that I've changed the names in this article for the victim's safety, except for Camil's. I will also provide a few documents with the permission to the public. However, most documentation will be reserved for the eyes of the authorities only. I'm going to keep this thread as close to the victim's statements as possible. Read their story here. Paul and Bella met Camil Maroun on a Virgin Voyage cruise in Europe in October of 2024. On the second night of the cruise, October 14th, Paul and Bella were eating on a ship and were seated next to Camil and a 20-year-old boy whose name will be kept private at this time. This led to them hanging out with Camil and the young boy practically 24/7 for the duration of the 11-night cruise, including doing excursions with them and eating most meals together. Camil quickly, upon meeting them, claimed to be something that they eventually found out was not true. After talking with Camil for a short time, Camil not only be a lawyer, but also one of the top legal counsels for TikTok, more specifically the TikTok Live division. They quickly questioned Camil on this, but Camil said that his connection with TikTok was made through his marketing company. This was confirmed by the young man he was with, as he was part of his agency as well for a short time. Camil was also made many outrageous and false claims, such as personally knowing the Obama and Biden families, that his parents had work relations with the Obama family, and were high up executives at multiple Fortune 500 companies, that he knew various famous and other political figures, and so many other lies. And how do we feel about lies, folks?
All lies will be exposed.
Even in 2025. Camil also claimed to be a very wealthy individual, owning multiple properties across the country and being very liquid. After they asked how he gained his wealth at such a young age, he claimed that he had gained a majority of his money from winning a case against a county where he was charged with destruction of property at a local church and was found not guilty. Suspicious. Suspicious. Continuing on, this is more from Sarah Fields. Multiple odd claims and situations continue to happen while on the cruise, but every time Camil was questioned, he immediately had a response without hesitation. Around this time, Paul and Bella were interested in starting their own company, so hearing that Camil was not only a lawyer, but also had a marketing company, they thought this would be a good partnership to get their company started. Always vet people. That's business 101 from old Kit Kat. Remember that. Camil claimed that he could help them with the creation of an LLC, start a website, create other legal documents, etc. They initially paid Camil $420, $420, no pun intended, on October 21st to create the LLC, which he said would take a few weeks to come through. This is when the scamming truly began. While on the ship, Camil claimed to have an investment group called MP414. He said that he made a lot of money through it and invited Paul and Bella to invest. They said, of course, skeptical of this, and asked him to show a wire confirmation of his alleged investment into this round of funding, which he quickly provided. After seeing that, they felt comfortable moving forward and invested around $3,000 with the promise that they would receive monthly updates and official documents in the mail about said investment group. This never happened. Nothing was ever received. Oof. Oof, indeed. After the cruise was over, Paul and Bella had made it back home. They stayed in contact with Camil. He quickly presented them with what Bella would call a friends and family deal, offering his marketing services at a discount rate and encouraging them to move forward with wiring him the money so that he could get started on the various items they had paid for. You know what this is? This is how you shake people down. This is how people get screwed. In total, Paul and Bella paid Camil close to $10,000 via wire transfer for a logo and slogan creation, website creation, and legal documents to be created for the company. No. Listen, I encourage my audience this. If you want to get involved in social media, do it yourself, vet it yourself. It's a longer road, but it's better than just saying, oh, hi, I met you on a cruise ship. Don't do that. Do not do that. It's just like listening to an influencer saying, oh, please invest into my meme coin. Don't do it. All right. Old advice from old Kit Cabello. All right. Continuing on, Paul and Bella were assured before hiring Camil that he had a logo design team and would come up with one-of-a-kind personal logos right here for them. Before meeting and hiring Camil, they had created a logo on Canva that they were going to use. When they told him they already had a logo, he said that it would be illegal to use since it was not an original creation. Oh, you little bastard. That is messed up. That was one of the main reasons they decided to hire Camil to do their marketing. Oh, no. As they promised that their logos were going to be original creations, which they eventually found out were not. As the weeks went by, before realizing the logos were taken from another website, they talked to Camil daily. Let's see. Hold on. Let's go ahead. Up until January 22nd of 2025, the day Camil was made aware that they knew he was a fraud, Camil had continued to go on various trips with young boys. Oh, boy. While on these trips, Camil would stay distant with communication, going almost silent. Toward the end of their relationship, Bell would ask Camil countless times for updates regarding their LLC, MP414 investment group, etc. Camil always had an excuse as to why they had not received anything yet. While pushing Camil to give them updates for what they paid for, he made various excuses. Camil claimed that he was robbed in front of the Miami airport. Bull. Oh, I was robbed. I got kicked in the groin. Oh, I'm visiting a family member. My phone was broken or stolen numerous times. You're not that important. If your phone gets stolen so many times, you're a moron. They decided to move forward with creating their own LLC with the same exact name they had given Camil to create. Camil at this point claimed that he had their LLC documents, but was not able to provide them due to being logged out of his email because he got a new phone after his was stolen. Oh, how convenient. So all these people, this couple, they're being scammed. They're being robbed. They're being taken advantage of. So, in other words, now we don't know Harry's full involvement in this. And I want to pull up this tweet right here because this is nearing the end of the Twitter thread. And there, by the way, for the record, that's Camil right there. There he is right there. So for legal purposes, it's important to note that we do not know if Harry Sisson was aware of these incidents that occurred in this particular event with Bella and Paul. Also, this is not an expose. Appropriate actions have been taken, and this is being forwarded to the correct authorities, which, again, shout out to Sarah Fields, who's doing the right thing. Continuing on, though, for the rest of the story, because I think this is important that we do talk about this. This all changed on January 22nd when Paul and Bella sent a blast email to Camil and to every email list that they could find associated with his company, Impulse, asking for a refund for everything they had paid for. At the same time, they had filed a dispute with a few charges they had paid to Camil via PayPal. Camil ironically called them within minutes after not hearing from him for days at this point, and he claimed that he had not seen the email nor the PayPal disputes and was just checking in as friends. Bella quickly brought this to his attention that they knew he was scamming them and that they wanted a full refund for every dollar they had ever given him. Camil quickly agreed, and throughout the day, they communicated to make sure the dollar amount he owed was right. After agreeing on the amount, Camil said the only way he would send the wire to them was if they dropped the PayPal dispute and signed an agreement with him, which was an NDA. After refusing to drop the dispute until they got their money and not signing the NDA, Camil became very hostile and angry because he doesn't want people to talk about that. Remember, people that want you to be silent are afraid of being exposed for the rot and slime that they are. And I think we've run into people like that throughout all of our lives at some point or another. The same night, Paul and Bella had their own attorney reach out to Camil in an effort to get their money back. Camil even emailed their lawyer and threatened to sue Paul and Bella for defamation for claiming that he said he was a lawyer despite multiple phone calls, some where he was even recorded with consent. And texts where he claimed to be an attorney. All right. The couple has more stories regarding fraud Camil committed, as well as strange incidents regarding Camil and the young male travelers on his cruise trips. We also have evidence that indicates that this incident occurred before Harry Sisson decided to finally report Camil to the FBI. However, we also have evidence that Harry Sisson knew of Camil's criminal behavior as early as mid-2023. Harry, say it ain't so. And a statement from Bella regarding the young man. There were numerous odds and sketchy situations. I even pulled him, the young man, aside one time after he said something weird regarding Camille to ask him if Camille did something to him, if he needed to stay in our room, but Camille within seconds was there and hovering over us. The next morning, he made several excuses regarding the night prior, and the boy seemed to be acting normal. What we know is that he was probably threatened by Camille. At this time, this could be a case of trafficking based on multiple statements made. I'll provide updates on this as time progresses. And one more thing here as well. Under sections 13D and 13G of the Security Exchange Act of 1934, what a great year that was, right? Prohibition at its height. Any individual or entity that directly or indirectly acquires beneficial ownership of more than 5% of voting equity class must file a Schedule 13D within 5 days or Schedule 13G within 45 days, depending on eligibility, with the SEC. These filings disclose ownership details and intentions regarding the securities. Under 18 U.S.C. 1348, willfully violating federal securities exchange laws, including fraudulent filings under sections 13D and 13G of the Exchange Act, can result in criminal penalties and up to 25 years in prison and substantial fines. In layman's terms, this document alone can land Camil in prison for 25 years. So that's the further fallout of Harry and his association with Camil Maroun, because there seems to be some sketchy details. Now, as this investigation is going on, I'm actually following Sarah Fields on social media. I think she's done a great job in regards to piecing this all together. Last week, we did the story on Harry and his relations with those women, but it evolved into something else, and we did a follow-up story. Here's hoping we get full clarification, but no one in the media is talking about this. Very few people are speaking about this. We'll see where these allegations and accusations go. Obviously, authorities have been informed, and we'll see how this situation develops as time progresses on. What a crazy story, eh?